Thank you so much for being here with us today. Welcome to another episode on Rise and Thrive Mornings with Intention. And today I would like you to meet a beautiful lady, Dr. Beatriz. She's with us here today and she's excited to share her adventures, her wisdom, and stories. So, welcome.
Thank you so much, Ava. It's so nice to be here in your space.
Thank you so much. And please tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, what you do currently, and then tell us what inspired you to write for the Ripple Effect of Impact book.
Yes, so I was born in Cuba under communism, and my parents were not willing to join, so our family was punished. And we came in as political refugees to the United States when I was a teenager. And as an immigrant, and when you're the other, you're not quite treated right. And my body was affected by the different diet, the fact that I was entering puberty, the stress of everything, and my body changed very rapidly. So I became a person with who was very overweight and with obesity. And I learned early on that I had to help myself because everybody kept blaming me for what was happening. And I just didn't know how to help myself as a teenager. I also was not allowed to go out and play because my parents were immigrants and afraid that something would happen to me. So there were many factors that were happening in addition to in the United States. I don't know if it's the same thing in Canada, but we have a lot of processed bad foods that are not cogent with the biology of our bodies as ancestral creatures. So I grew up to go to medical school, and then I became an endocrinologist. That's a hormone doctor. And then I did research in appetite and weight regulation. And I discovered that our milk letdown hormone, oxytocin, actually is a regulator of appetite. And then I went to the National Institutes of Health, where I continued to do my work as an endocrinologist and did a lot more research. And at some point, while we were there, I was married. I'm married 41 years now, but my husband was serving the army, and he was called to duty. And I was left with my two little girls, and I all by myself, no family around, running one of the units at the NIH. And that was one of the big transformative periods of my life where we were all so stressed out. And it became very clear at that point that my family was what mattered, not the academic career that I was going to have or other things. I really needed to be focused now on taking care of my babies. And I didn't know when my husband was coming back, but he eventually came back, and we decided to leave the high pressure academic setting and move into private practice. And I have been, when I did the private practice, I discovered that taking care of humans outside of university settings is very different than taking care of them when you're in the university setting and everything is done. You see, we doctors are trained conventionally to take care of sickness and illness, but we're not trained to prevent illness and to reverse disease. So that was a big move. One of the big ripple effects that we're talking about for me was about transforming and learning a new way of thinking about people and treating people differently in a way that I had not been taught in medical school, but I learned with Deepak Chopra, actually many years ago in 1997, mind, body medicine, and Ayurveda. And that was the beginning of a change for me that was transformative as one of my big changes in the process of going through a path that has led me to actually now lead others in a way that I never expected. After practicing medicine and doing it as an integrative medicine endocrinologist, people just wouldn't recognize that it was possible to do this. It was like an oddity. I was like a strange fringe doctor, even though I'm board certified, but I was bringing something different. And then in 2008, the medical system was changing, and the health insurance system told me that I could not spend time with my patients because they wanted to pay me a small amount. And if I continued to take time with my patients, they were going to find fault with me. And because I came from a communist system and I knew that people that are authoritarian and tell you what to do are not good to be with, I left the medical insurance system and started my own private practice. And after that, the local doctors, since I no longer belonged to a system that they were part of, discarded me. And they stopped referring patients to me for many, many years. So years later, medicine has changed so much that the people that refuse to refer to me and criticize me for having my own private practice and no longer taking insurance are now beginning to change to do the practice that I created in 2008. And so the world has turned around in some strange way. And now I help physicians be well, recognizing that part of our illness, emotional, psychological, has to do with a systemic problem of our training to be who we are. And I'm trying to change that at a personal and more national and a systems level. That's my journey.
Wow. I am speechless, to be honest with you. The journey you had to go through, that's amazing. It's so amazing what you can learn about the other person, like, and how much they have gone through and the stories they have to share, it is truly amazing. So, all the power to you, for being so strong and to be willing to stand up for what you believe, even if it took time to get where you wanted to be. So that is absolutely amazing. So then what made you decide to go into the Ripple Effect book? Is it somebody told you about it? Was it because you wanted to share the story? Can you tell us more about that?
Well, I enjoy collaborating with other women. I have published my own books, but Kathy Dirksen is one of my mastermind sisters, and I met Linda Sunshine, and I have slowly gotten to know that whole wonderful crew. And it's been a pleasure to be part of an experience where women are being helped to tell their stories. And if I can be one of those examples of women that tell our stories and inspires others, then I'm doing one of my jobs in the world, which is to be a transformative presence that creates change.
Wow. That's amazing. So with that said, what is the core message you hope readers take away from your contribution to this book?
Well, I think the most important thing is a few messages. Number one, we women are environmentally, culturally, ancestrally made to feel that we're less than and that our voices don't matter. And it's particularly important if you're an immigrant and you're the other. How do we overcome those things, and how can we truly connect to our truth? And of course, I was helped by having grown up with a traumatic childhood, with my parents being punished and the fear of their being hurt under communism, and that my early on understanding of not giving up my rights and knowing that I was willing to sacrifice everything for the truth and for freedom. So I learned that early on. A lot of people need to be supported to learn that they are as empowered as men, being women, or to be given the strength to or supported to believe in themselves and their integrity and their dignity, and to be willing to give up everything at the cost of being rejected by others when you believe that you're doing the right thing. And for me, the right thing was to do right by my patients as a physician. That's why I trained, and I wasn't giving it up because of some profitability system was progressively taking over the medical system. So I left, but I'm still part of the conversation. And you're right, Ava, that anything that we do takes time. Everything that matters takes time. Sometimes we're lucky, but overall, it's a journey of small steps of consistency, showing up, believing in what we're doing. And then things with time begin to create the path, or you begin to look back and see there's a path that you created. And that's very, very empowering as a woman. And that's something that I can give to others.
I need a Kleenex. You're speaking so beautifully when it comes to that, and it's so touching, and the amount of courage you show and everything, it's unbelievable. Tell me, how has writing for this book impacted you personally and professionally?
Well, I will be honest with you, because I am a published author in other spaces. It's not my first publication. So if it were my first publication, it would be a very different experience than being in this experience and being now. um I understand my writing. I understand I have a voice. I understand that my stories matter, and that it's the stories that we share with each other that touch each other. So I'm very proud of being part of this group of wonderful women. And I'm glad to be part of a movement. Each one of us, just our connection will touch 10. Those 10 will touch 10 more. And that's what ripples are in the water,
Yep.
is the ripple effect of what we do. So I am here as part of the energetic space. I am a molecule that bounces with others to create energy and inspiration. And I think with anything that I do, I put my heart into it. I don't think this is nothing. I think everything that I put my energies matters deeply to me.
And was there any challenges you faced while writing this particular book, chapter for the book, of course?
Well, not really, because I was in the process of publishing an ebook for physicians,
Okay.
um, that I was creating to enhance physician well-being. And I think the stories that I tell in Ripple Effect are stories that are part of a, a large series of things that build up to create momentum for change. So for me, this was a much easier experience than it was to, for example, my first book, Mind Body Secrets. I wrote it, and then it took 1 year of editing, because I needed a science editor and I needed a regular editor, and I am a Cuban woman. So I wanted to be sure that it was beautifully written. I've become so much of a better writer from here that on this book, I just wanted it to be fabulous for everyone.
Yeah, I totally understand that, because I know when I did the first one, I felt like I was kind of like deer in the headlights. I wasn't sure what to expect, how to do it, but I did it anyhow. And on my next book, I was just like, okay, first one was like this, how can I make the second one better? And then going to the third one, how can I make this one a better? And I did more research and a few things like that. So, naturally kind of comes to you, you expand, you grow, you can become better at it, right, with time. So
And I see you were inspired to do this podcast series that I'm very proud of being part of, because when we do things like that, we get inspired to expand and go further than we've been to before.
Exactly. And, I've been kind of, you could say, in a shell for a long time. And I put myself in there because, as you mentioned before, when you were growing up, like I also came to Canada as a teenager, and it was hard for me. I absolutely didn't like being here. Not that it was anything to do with the country itself. It was the fact that I was stripped away from my family, taken away. I didn't know any English when I came here. Finding that comfort, parents were busy doing their stuff. So I felt like I had to like stay where I was in my space and trying to work with it. At that time, nobody talked about law of attraction, what it was and all that. Pretty much you were told to suck it up and move on, in a nutshell. And but in the meantime, your brain's still trying to process all these pieces. And as a teenager, as you said, hormones start kicking in for us women and this and that. And it was just a lot of moving pieces, and on top of a few others. And then so I ended up putting myself in shell, like living under the rock for a while. Yeah, I did travel, I did other things. I had to push myself, but at the same time, part of me was dying inside, and it was a hard time for me for quite some time. But then I realized, I can stay where I am and continue being miserable, you could say, or, jump over this, get used to it and adjust and go forward. And for some time I was, finding, because as you're little, you led by the adults, but when you get to a certain point, you start expanding your mind. Say, look, I know I've been taught this, but I don't feel it's the way it is. So you start researching things your own way. You go into other things, avenues. You start, expanding your awareness. And that's when I slowly, gradually starting, learning more about other things and so on. Went into a lot of law of attraction teachers, but that's a lot later on. And fast forward, you come to a point where, if you don't really take life in your own hands and do something, nobody else is going to do it for you. You there's so many so
But it's
many things.
the courage, number one. I think you and I share a lot of parents not being around. I had to take care of my younger siblings, but is that step of things that happen to us as early traumas that are not integrated in our brain early on, which diminishes us. And then having the courage to have the choice. You have a choice to think differently. You have a choice, even though it might feel strange, to just do something you haven't done before and just try it. And it's beautiful that these things can be shared in this way, and that we can come from our shells and sort of expand, or like the lotus that comes from the muck and then grows to a beautiful flower after its journey. And I think that's what each one of us is here to do, to blossom and bring the beauty of our spirits and our wisdom and our knowledge to everyone.
Yes, and spread the ripple effect. And in hopes that it does help somebody out there who hasn't maybe found that voice yet, or been able to express it, but at least they know that there's help out there, and we are there for each other. You just have to reach out. So yeah, it's kind of got carried away there. Sorry. But it's all about sharing the experiences and being true and authentic to who we are and stepping out of that comfort zone, you know. So tell me, can you share a story from your experience that had a significant impact on someone's life? At least one story you'd like to share? I know you have lots, but one that sticks out maybe more than the other.
Yeah, I would say there is a story when I'm a young doctor and I'm about to do a large presentation in front of 100 doctors. And just about when I was to start talking, I passed out.
No, really? Oh no, what happened after?
I passed out on the floor, and when I woke up, I didn't see anybody helping me. They were all leaving the room. They were all
Oh,
doctors like me. You know, of course, much older. I was in my training. So I think that that story, which is in one of my books, My Mind Body Secrets, is a story that led me to become very curious about the mind body connection. And I knew my material intellectually, but a part of my inner younger self did not feel enough and did not want to be there and checked me out.
yeah.
So that experience was transformative for me, and it has helped hundreds, if not thousands, of people in how I deal with any interactions. I always deal with the mind first. I want to know what the mind is thinking, what the mind is doing, and how willing is the mind to accept the next steps that are happening for it. And if there's blockages, what are they? And how can I overcome them in a way that I create a nurturing experience for the transition? I've helped hundreds, thousands of people this way. I've taken care of 6,000 women in my field in endocrinology, and it's always having to do with the mind.
Wow. But I still can't believe that nobody helped you. Like, come on.
I think they were shocked. They were
Yeah.
shocked, and I probably reminded them of them, you know, imposter syndrome and all of these things that, you know, young professionals feel, and they just couldn't believe it. But, you know, they should have thought that I was having something bad happen to me, but I think they all knew. They all knew.
Probably, yeah. Oh my goodness.
Oh, the mind body connection is huge, and the flight fight response, flight fight fawn response is incredible, and that led me to truly understand mind body medicine, to do mindfulness based stress reduction, and to help myself and help my patients through a meditation practice and through a deep understanding through Jungian psychotherapy and Buddhist training to become fuller and more aware of my existence within and without.
Wow. Were you on that Mind Body and some Mind Body Connection Summit with Linda too? Were you a guest speaker on that?
Well, you know, I was late on that. I spoke a little bit on that, but I the timing was off because I was seeing patients, and it was just very difficult for me to set things up. People set up appointments months ahead of time. So that was a complicated thing, but that was a beautiful summit. I listened to it, and I was in a little bit of it at the end.
Oh, okay, yeah, I was in that one too. If anybody wants more information on that one, reach out to us and we'll be able to forward you a video. At the moment, I don't know offhand, but it's on Action Takers Publishing website, on YouTube. Tell me, my dear, are there any upcoming projects? And I know you said you might have some, or books you're working on that you'd like to share with us at this time?
Well, I have this book of ours that is coming out. This will be our second book co-authoring together. I think this is coming out in August, so I'm very excited about that. I have another big project, another co-authored group in a separate situation, also about um, really enlightening ideas that we women can bring in different fields of medicine to the thinking of how systems should be run. That's another one. I have two courses that are on demand that I've created for women. One is called what's called Elevate Health, and now it's called Love Yourself and Fix Your Weight, because everybody wants to do something with their weight in one way or another. And then my second one is solutions for women's health problems. I took a survey, and I found what women wanted to know. I taught the course, and the course is on demand. And that these are fun courses that people can take and learn so much. In the first course, one person became a marathoner, and various people lost like 30 pounds, and they're keeping it off. And then the second course, there was an incredible amount of feedback and percentage learning from where they started to where they ended in terms of the work. So these two courses are coming. And then in the fall, I have a course for women in medicine and
Mm.
mind-body medicine
Wow.
and empowerment for women and mindfulness. So these are big things that are coming up for me, and I'm very, very excited about that.
Wow, that is truly amazing. And I have to myself check out a few of your courses to to better myself. And I recently lost not recently, but over the last year, I ended up releasing about 50 pounds. I did it first time. I didn't keep it on off because I was sidetracked with something. So I kind of, but then I did it again. So I know it's I know the process is easy, but like you said, it is all in the mindset too. And now I did a second time and I'm able to keep it off because I'm actually using the power of the mind more than, anything. So it is amazing, but there's other things I'd love to check out, the courses that are coming out from you. So I can't wait to get into them. Um, my next question is, sorry, go ahead.
Wanted to tell you congratulations. Our ancestral brain wants us to gain weight. It doesn't help us to lose it. So
Hmm.
it defends our highest weight, and that's why people regain the weight. That's why drugs are now available for that. But if one has mindfulness and is able to tell the brain, I understand you want me to get heavier, but you can use my fat at this point to give me energy, and I will continue to be this way, because the brain has a different agenda. It wants you to survive in a famine.
Mm, yes. Yeah, exactly. Mind is a powerful thing. Tell us, because you're so powerful and you're a beautiful doctor, tell us, what is your secret? What do you do daily as a practice or a routine that helps you stay focused and motivated?
Okay, so I truly believe in the pillars of wellness through lifestyle. So I believe in 7 hours of sleep every night. I think that's very important. I want to get good deep sleep and good REM sleep. I record my dreams. When I wake up, I meditate and I take some time for myself, quiet time to do things. I walk every day for 30 minutes to an hour. And I have a trainer that helps me twice a week. As we get older, we lose muscle mass. So I'm trying to keep my little muscles. So I'm doing weights and doing things. And I eat healthy foods. I only eat whole foods. And I'm fortunate to be surrounded by beautiful women in my office where I work. And I have a 41-year-old marriage, and my daughters are doing well. I have this incredible network of women friends, you included, as part of the team that is creating these beautiful things. So I have so much goodness in my life, and I have so much gratitude and for my blessings, and that gives me joy, and I'm grateful for that. So that's what I do every day.
Wow. So that's your secret, hey? That is beautiful. I love that you share that because I ask this everybody, what is it that they do? What's their daily routine to stay focused, motivated? And as you know, our podcast is called Rise and Thrive: Mornings with Intention. So what does this title evoke for you? And how do you see the importance of starting your day with intention?
Well, there's very strong data which shows that if you wake up in the morning and you actually visualize what you will do with the day, that makes a difference in the outcome, because your attitude and your receptiveness is open for the possibility of what the universe will bring through. It'll attract what you are wanting. Um, I also think that at nights before going to sleep, putting in a piece of paper before bedtime, some of the things that worry you allow for the sleep to occur better. And that way you don't have to be going over and over again in your mind. Your brain likes to know that things are where they should be.
Mhm.
So both I believe in like a nighttime recognizing what will be done tomorrow, and in the morning intending. For me as a physician, I intend that I'm going to heal, I'm going to hear, I'm going to help, and I'm going to create hope. That is my intention, my mantra every morning as I walk to work. And I do so at my work.
Wow. Such deep, profound wisdom. Thank you so much, Dr. Beatriz Olson. It's been a pleasure to have you on our show. I can't wait to read your chapter and all the other things I want to see that you've mentioned. Um, of course, in the video, we will post the bio of the doctor and as well as the links where you can get in touch with her. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. It's been a pleasure to have you here. Any last words of wisdom you'd like to share with us, Doctor?
I want to give gratitude. Give gratitude for this moment, for the opportunity, and for the ripple effect that we make by just being present. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much, listeners, for being here with us today, and have a beautiful day. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.